since we're going to be setting up our screen, we want to weed away the design itself. What we're doing is creating a stencil to place on the silk screen, and then that will allow the ink to pass through those areas and leave your image on your shirt or bag or paper, whatever you're deciding to put your image on. The way I like to do it is to use some kind of a weeding tool. It could be an X-Acto knife, a tool made for weaving. I've used the pick tool or the needle tool for clay before, just something to help you kind of get that vinyl started. Once I get the edge kind of peeled up there, I drag my finger over it and it catches, and then it weeds away the vinyl. You do have to be a little more careful on things that have super small pieces, or like your letters that have a centerpiece to them, like the A's, the P's, the B's, things like that. Sometimes that centerpiece will kind of weed away with it as well, but you can just stick it back to that backer paper. It's okay if it doesn't stick down 100%. That's kind of the whole point of it being on the backer paper, is so that it can be removed. If you're having a really hard time with it, you could actually kind of stick it off somewhere else. Don't forget about it, and then we can add it back into the design when we have it on our transfer paper or on the actual screen itself. So the rest of this is just kind of me weeding the design. It took me about maybe 3 minutes total to do the whole design. When you're first starting out though, I do recommend going a little bit slower, just to make sure that you're getting what you want removed and you're leaving what you need on your backer paper. Once your design is all weeded, we're going to transfer it to our silk screen. The first thing we're going to do is trim down the sides so that it actually fits inside of the screen itself. Once I have it trimmed down a little bit, I like to set it inside the screen to see if it fits. If not, then I can remove a little more vinyl. For the actual transfer process, I like to use just regular contact paper, the clear contact paper. And what I'm doing right now is I'm sticking it to my tabletop a couple of times just to help kind of loosen up that adhesive just a little bit. I want it to be sticky, but I don't want it to be so sticky that it removes the vinyl from the screen after I place it in on the screen. It's helpful if your vinyl covers the whole design. I cut mine just a tad bit small, so you will see me struggle a little bit a little later in the video, but just get it as close as you possibly can. And then I like to use anything flat really to help me smooth it down. I have a bunch of old used gift cards that I like to use as little squeegees. You can get squeegees from the dollar store. You can even use just like a spackling tool that you can get it from Menards or Home Depot or something like that. It's just something to help you press your design down. When you're peeling off the backer paper, if you notice, I'm trying to actually roll it away from the design. When you roll it away as opposed to pulling it straight up, it does help to leave the vinyl attached to the backer paper. These little tiny bits here and there, you do see they kind of start to pull up. So what I do is I just rub it back down with my finger and kind of push it forward using that backer paper, and that usually is sufficient. If for some reason you're really struggling with a little piece, you can go ahead, just leave it on the backer paper. Like I said, we can go back later and either attach it to the contact paper or directly to the screen itself. Once we have it completely removed, all we need to do is bring the screen over, and then we're going to lay that down into the screen. Generally, these designs are relatively reusable. This is a permanent adhesive vinyl, so it's not going to come off like after one shirt. You can screen multiple shirts, and as long as you are cleaning them out carefully and you're able to get all of that ink off, you can wash them, dry them, and then reuse them another time. Another way to do this technique using just kind of a different material would be to use the heat press vinyl. You can actually heat press it to your screen before you put it onto your frame, and then that would definitely give you more of a permanent design. The adhesive's nice because we can peel it off when we're done. Now we're just going to peel back that contact paper layer, and again I'm keeping it nice and low, and I'm kind of rolling it off of my design to make sure that it releases from the vinyl. I'm going to replace the middle of my R, and then I'm going to start masking off the rest of the screen. The next step is going to be masking off all of the extra screen that's kind of peeking through around the frame of our image. You can leave it exposed, however, I really don't recommend doing it because if there is screen exposed, there is a good chance the ink will find its way to it. I've found that I have masked it off as well as I could, and I thought I had everything sealed, and then there's like one or two little tiny pieces that are still kind of open that ink can go through. If you're doing like a test print or you're noticing that happen, you can actually flip your screen over, and then I just put a little piece of tape over that little bleed, and that does seem to kind of, you know, help prevent that from happening. But a good thing to do is just to tape it up completely. I feel like you honestly can't overdo this step. As long as you're leaving your actual image itself exposed, then that's kind of the goal here. And once that step is done, then you are ready to print.